You're here. I've been wanting to fucking shake your hand since you stormed off your show.
Yeah.
I feel like there is not enough storming.
I completely agree with you.
I think there should be an award show called the Stormies, just for.
So this episode, they really go into censorship and, of course, the cancel culture and all of what we see play out today.
People who have the balls to storm off.
Yeah.
So what is that show? That was like their Today show?
Yeah, it was the morning show, Good Morning Britain.
All over Britain.
All over Britain.
London to Londonderry.
Everywhere.
Scotland?
Yeah, Scotland, Wales.
That's right. It was called Good Morning Britain. Yeah.
Ireland, everywhere. Yeah. And it was, I mean, the blow up came because I was hired specifically to give forthright opinions. That's why I got the job. And when I gave a very forthright opinion that I didn't believe a word Meghan Markle was saying in her Oprah whine-a-thon, all hell broke loose and the woke brigade tried to cancel me. And I thought, well, they're not going to cancel me because my opinions are my opinions. But of course, it turned out you actually are not allowed opinions.
Yes. So I remember this time in history. And a matter of fact, it happened around this time in 2021. But it was March 8th. And Meghan Markle had this interview. It was Meghan and Harry. They had this interview with Oprah. And they were talking about the craziest things. I felt the same way how Piers felt listening to it, except for the difference between me and Piers. Piers knows Meghan Markle. I don't. Now, I don't want to, this is not about Meghan Markle, okay? But it's about how everybody got so insane around that time.
Was headed.
They didn't want him to be a prince or a princess, not knowing what the gender would be, which would be different from protocol, and that he wasn't going to receive security.
What?
It was really hard. Look, I was really ashamed to say it at the time and ashamed to have to admit it to Harry, especially, because I know how much loss he suffered.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew that if I didn't say it, that I would do it. And
So I just wanted to share that clip with you so we could kind of go back down memory lane so we can see what real borderline personality disorder looks like, okay?
I'm sorry, I don't believe a word she says, Meghan Markle.
Well, that's
I wouldn't believe it if she read me a weather report. And the fact that she's fired up this onslaught against our royal family, I think is contemptible.
Understand that you don't like Meghan Markle. You've made it so clear a number of times on this program. A number of times. And I understand that you've got a personal relationship with Meghan Markle or had one, and she cut you off. She's entitled to cut you off if she wants to. Has she said anything about you since she cut you off? I don't think she has, but yet you continue to trash her.
I'm done with this.
No.
Sorry, no.
Sorry. Do you know what? That's pathetic.
You can trash me, maybe not my
No.
See you later.
I'm being...
Sorry, can't do this.
Absolute.
So, yeah, I wanted to share it with you guys so you guys could see exactly what happened. And it is worth revisiting.
It's so interesting, England, you know, it just becomes more and more Americanized, don't you think?
Completely, yeah.
Like the hypersensitivity thing, which, you know, I used to think of the British as stiff upper lip.
Yeah.
But I remember going to England the first time, I think it was 1984, the Des O'Connor show.
Yeah.
You must have grown up on that.
Des is great.
But it was like the TV was like 2 channels. I thought this was the crown to that, the Meghan Markle thing, because there was just so much bullshit about it, right? Well, I can't even remember. Now, what it was.
I watched Sharon Osbourne come on your show after.
Yes.
Because she then got fired for standing up for me.
Oh, right.
Right. And then there was the backlash of Sharon Osbourne getting fired for saying that Piers was not racist. I mean, this was going around the news, just all headlines, that Piers was racist because he simply said he just didn't believe Meghan Markle's lies, you know?
Because she was accused of supporting a racist. And as she rightly said, what did he actually say that was racist?
You know,
exactly.
The truth was I hadn't said anything remotely racist. What I had done was say I didn't believe Meghan Markle, who, by the way, was lying through her back teeth.
And that's what I mean about like the way England has become Americanized. That you can't, because she's half black, she couldn't possibly lie.
Right.
That's not racist.
And also I made the point there were lots of people on the show that day who vehemently believed every word she said. I said, well, why are they allowed to believe her? Why can they exercise their right to a belief when I can't exercise a right to disbelieve her? I said, I don't care if you disagree with me, or if you like her, or if you agree with her, but I'm surely entitled in what used to be a democracy to say, I don't believe you.
Of course.
So, right. So, all right, to recap all of that, right? What we just saw. Again, Meghan Markle did go, because now today, fast forward, a lot of that stuff came out to be a lie. Okay. So she went on Oprah Winfrey's little show thing or whatever, her and Harry. It was to the point where Harry was saying that him and Meghan Markle were oppressed because they were being treated funny because Meghan Markle was half black. By the way, me, a black woman, who at the time I knew of Meghan Markle, like her name as an actress, I didn't know the broad was black. Like I thought she was Spanish or something, like half black. She never spoke about it. That she never claimed it. In fact, when they asked her, how are you going to make the black girls feel like that you're a princess and they can be princesses too? And she said, no, all girls. That's what she said. And I never forgot it. And that's actually a good answer. But all of a sudden she started to cling to being black because of racism and victimhood, right? After that, Piers Morgan rightfully said, I don't believe anything she's saying. Then you have this guy saying, you just don't like her. 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 Oh, and something, you just don't like her. And so he was like, I'm out. I remember when this happened. I was happy for him. I was like, I don't even watch Piers Morgan, but people should not take that label. Nobody has a right to label anybody simply because they're assessing something, So I thought he was top G that day. I was like, good for him, because I wasn't at all blinded by her lies that later on were shown to be lies about, oh, Archie that couldn't be a prince or whatever. It's not true. It's the title. There's something about the lineage and how it goes down. It was all following protocol, and really, I just shared that clip. I'm shocked I found it, because for the longest time, you couldn't find that interview anymore online, because that's how bad it was. And it made Oprah look really bad too. But the point is, then there was this mob cry for censorship or, racist. That's all you heard. And it was like, oh, we're going to cancel Piers Morgan, which obviously did not happen, right? Like he said, you can't cancel me for my opinions. This is how people need to be. But it was insane to me, like Bill was saying, that this happened in England, like in London or whatever, the UK. I'm like, wow. I'm like, how, why are they doing that? Because I never heard this kind of talk about racism, by the way. I mean, now it's different because everything is so mainstreamed in the way how it's being pushed worldwide, and this kind of divide, this kind of communistic divide, it's different. But back in the day, we'll say, and even only like maybe 7 years ago, you didn't hear that kind of talk too much in other countries.
And let me preface by saying, the sad thing is the way our country is now. We will, just by having this conversation, we will be perceived, and they will try to characterize as right wingers.
Right.
I'm not a right winger.
Nor am I.
Just because I don't bend the knee to the one true opinion.
So yes. And now I agree with Bill Maher. Listen, me and Bill Maher, I'm sure we disagree on many, many, many things, but there are times where you happen to agree with a person. He's right. As soon as you say something that's like outside of the quote box that somebody else has placed you in, because you didn't place yourself in that box, you're automatically this new label. Like you said, they'll call us right wingers, and those two are definitely not right wingers at all. And that's what happens. I've seen that happen, especially right now, where there are people being called leftists because of, foreign affairs. And I will say, liberals definitely understand world politics a lot better than quote conservatives or whatever. But now they're calling people leftists who doesn't agree with the conservative take on things, the fake patriotic of like, America has the biggest army and we can just win everything. Like, no, to be patriotic to this country is to be in reality. Okay. So then they'll label you a leftist. It's just these labels, these boxes that people are placing them, are placing you in without knowing, or people place themselves in. And then now it makes you stop thinking, right? is this approved for my side of the aisle? Can I talk about this? I don't think they'll like it. No, stay true to the truth and you won't have that problem. But these labels, all of this woke stuff, I'm glad it only took about 3 years, but it seems like people are calling it out more, and I'm so here for it.